And we will continue to drive down the cost of living in this country for Americans. We will continue to deregulate. And it's also incredibly important that we pass this one big beautiful bill, which is the largest tax cuts in American history. And that's why the White House and the president himself have been in touch with lawmakers all weekend long to get this bill passed. And they are working very hard to do so. It remains a top priority for the president. And this bill has exposed the clear differences between Republicans and Democrats in 2025. The Democrats are doubling down on craziness and radical policies that are undermining the very fabric of our country. Just look at the Democrat nominee for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. He's a Democrat socialist, really a communist, who proudly calls to defund the police, peddles anti-Semitism, praises pro-Hamas groups, wants Israel abolished, and believes wealthy Americans should not exist. Those are his words, just as recent as this weekend. Meanwhile, under President Trump's leadership, Republicans are fighting tirelessly for everyday middle-class working Americans who re-elected this president, and we're carrying out a revolution of common sense, and all of that is packed into this one big beautiful bill. It delivers the largest middle and working class tax cuts in U.S. history. It keeps America safe by funding the largest ever one-time investment in border security. It's enough to reverse the Biden border invasion. And every single Democrat is against that, against securing our border and deporting millions of criminal illegal aliens. The one big beautiful bill also strengthens and protects Medicaid benefits, despite what Democrats are saying, for eligible American citizens who rely on it, like pregnant women, children, seniors, and people with disabilities, by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse that threaten to destroy this program that was intended for the most vulnerable in our society. And every single Democrat in Congress is against rooting out that waste, fraud, and abuse in blocking the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving these benefits that should be going to American tax-paying citizens. The Democrats in Congress are more concerned with defending illegal aliens than they are hardworking Americans. And the big beautiful bill also revitalizes our military and enhances our defense capabilities, protects our country from emerging new threats by funding a cutting-edge missile defense system called the Golden Dome. And as we all know, the one big beautiful bill makes the Trump tax cuts permanent. The White House and the president are adamant that this bill is passed and that this bill makes its way to his desk. Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, and we are counting on them to get the job done.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm dropping tonight, as you can see, is going to touch on two things, okay, if you can tell by my title and my thumbnail. The first one is going to be about the Trump's big, beautiful bill that he's trying to get through the final stages in Congress for it to pass, where the Democrats, okay, they're coming up with all these lies saying, and there's a few Republicans, okay, that are saying that that bill is no good for the American people. And yet, all the Democrats could think about is how, in that bill, how it's going to affect people on Medicaid. What they're not saying, even though they're saying that it's going to affect, you know, X amount of people in America, what they're not saying is it's how it can affect people if they don't go by what the new rules are going to be, number one. And number two, what they're worried about is that it's going to strip away Medicaid and other benefits from nearly 2 million illegal migrants. But they won't say that because, you know, they got to keep feeding their future base, for lack of a better term. But they think that it's okay that should fall on the American taxpayer dollar, okay? And of course, as always, they're going to spin it around, change it around, and make it seem as if everyone that is eligible for Medicaid is going to be affected. And that is not the case. That is totally not the case. But you can't leave it up to the mainstream media and the left and the rhinos to say anything true, regardless of how straightforward it's in their faces. Okay? Now, you heard what the press secretary had to say, Okay, we're gonna go listen to what some these lefties got to say in on CBS News Boston, and there's a lot. I mean, there's just tons and tons of narrative out there just spinning around the internet. So before we go any further, I just want to say two things real quick. I want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And secondly, and most importantly, people, do your research. Don't even take it from me. Do your research. Go online, look it up on your phone, whatever the case is, whatever it is that you want to find, whatever specific detail you want to find in the bill that President Trump is trying to pass, look it up for yourself. Read it word for word. If you agree with it, disagree with it, or you're in the middle, at least you're the one out there getting the information. Okay? Not listening to all these talking heads, and I know that I'm putting out my information, but I'm putting this out for everybody to see, and I'm going to read exactly what it says in the bill about this whole thing with Medicaid. Okay, but without further ado, we got a lot to cover, and the most important thing in this video is about the app that some tech guru in their infinite wisdom decided to put out that will be warning illegal immigrants whenever ICE is in their neighborhood. So stay tuned, but let's continue with this. Here we go.
What would the changes in Medicare and Medicaid coverage mean for people here in Massachusetts? WBZ's Logan Hall joins us live in Boston tonight. And Logan, we're hearing a lot of warnings about this.
Yeah, that's right. Good evening. These cuts to Medicaid could impact the health care for hundreds of thousands of people here in the state of Massachusetts. And as one local charitable organization tells us, it could also impact their access to food assistance programs, making it even more difficult for these people who are already struggling to get access to essentials that they need to survive. These cuts to programs like Medicaid will impact millions of Americans across the country. Cuts to Medicaid will also hit home.
The current version of the bill becomes law, that about 250,000 members of Massachusetts would lose access to their health care.
Jennifer Obadia works at Project Bread, a nonprofit working to end hunger in Boston. She says that these cuts will also impact food assistance programs.
Many people across the state of Massachusetts face trade-offs, whether it's between food and their medicine or their rent. And so our programs exist to help try and alleviate that burden. What's currently being voted on in the Senate would fundamentally strip away a lot of our ability to continue to do that work.
They would. Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey spoke on the Senate floor today opposing the big, beautiful bill. He says that slashing programs like Medicaid and SNAP will put millions at risk.
This is a huge issue for hospitals and for individuals that are dependent upon these federal programs to take care of their families, to keep their families healthy.
The cuts will also result in the closing of several hospitals across the country, including one here in Greenfield, Massachusetts.
If one of our rural hospitals closed down, for example, in Greenfield, the ambulance ride is much longer. Access to treatment will take much more time. The emergency room won't be as close. So all of this is central to the well-being of the community.
But this isn't the end of the fight for groups like Project Bread.
It will continue with advocacy at the state level, advocacy at the federal level, and programming to bring those policy changes into fruition for the people across the state.
Now, coming up next hour, we'll hear more from Jennifer about the future of Project Bread, one that she describes as uncertain. She says that this group is actively working to navigate these potential cuts. Reporting in East Boston, Logan Hall, WBZ News.
Okay, so you heard that. Now here's the thing, people. The only people that are complaining about this, in all honesty, are a lot of the blue states, if not all. Okay, I'm sorry, let me skip this down here and just leave it at that. Okay. Now this is the way I see it. Okay, and I'm gonna read what the bill says about Medicaid. Okay, when you have a place like Boston, Massachusetts, whatever, over here complaining about this, I have to remind people that if you look at the state of Florida, what Ron DeSantis has done in Florida has basically put a surplus of billions of dollars back into the pot where they can take care of the people in Florida and take care of certain programs and things that need to get done. When you have a place like Boston, Massachusetts, and you have a mayor and a governor who decide to take billions upon billions of dollars and spend it frivolously on illegal migrants, you have a money problem. Okay? When you open up your doors and you fight the federal government and say that you are a sanctuary state and you're going to bring in all the illegals that you want, you have a problem. Okay? For this woman to come out and say that it's going to hurt so many X amount of people and that they need advocacy on the state and federal level. Listen, if you want advocacy, that's fine. Do it on the state level. It's your state that's misusing the money that taxpayers are putting in. Don't go and advocate the federal government, okay? Because everybody knew that when Donald Trump said he was going to run for president, what he was going to do, he is sticking by it. And one of the things he said was to cut wasteful spending that the government was doing, trying to cater to all these blue states and sanctuary cities, just to cater to people that have not put a damn dime into the coffers. Okay? And then they're going to go and try to push this under the guise that, oh, you know what, it's going to affect everybody. Well, if you wouldn't open up your doors to people that don't belong here, maybe you people will be able to save a lot of that money and give it back to your constituents. The same thing goes in Chicago. The same thing goes in New York. You spend you know, it's funny that you found all this money to house illegal migrants in hotels and give them room and board and give them car vouchers and give them money for food and money for apartments and what have you, that it totals in the hundreds, if the tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, okay, throughout the country. And you're upset because Donald Trump's like, you know what, we're going to change this around. We're going to cut back on the wasteful spending. They just can't get it through their head that what's going on in Massachusetts, what's going on in Chicago, what's going on in California and New York, Colorado. I mean, let's just take Oregon. Okay, let's take Seattle. You have so many deadbeats out there getting federal monies and just whatever it is that they need. And in return, all they got to do is go out there and protest. Whose fault is that? That's your fault. That's not the government's fault. That's not my fault as a taxpayer. Okay? I paid my taxes. I work. Everybody on my channel knows my situation with my car accident a couple of months ago. I didn't get no Medicaid, no food stamps, no welfare, nothing. I didn't get anything. I don't qualify for anything. And I was in an accident that I didn't even cause. Why should I care whoever comes here from another country that they start getting all kinds of benefits? Especially when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to Medicaid. Okay? This is something that the left has been pushing, and they're still pushing in the blue states. And we're supposed to be held responsible. We're supposed to sit back and start crying. You're going to try to twist it around and try to threaten us and make us feel guilty, saying, oh, this is going to affect the average American that's on Medicaid? Whose fault is that? Okay, and don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of people, a lot of Americans that need Medicaid and food stamps and stuff like that. I'm not knocking them. But there are a lot of Americans also that are a bunch of deadbeats that are beating the system. And they don't deserve a damn dime. Okay, now we're going to go to the list real quick because there's a lot here to cover. And like I said, everybody, you know, do your own research. And this pops right up and is not much to read. Okay. And it says the big beautiful bill proposes significant changes on Medicaid, including work requirements and cuts that could lead to millions losing coverage. But this is, if, in my opinion, this is if you don't do these things. Okay. It says work requirements. The bill mandates that non-disabled Medicaid recipients work at least 80 hours a month. That's 20 hours a week. If you cannot work 20 hours a week, you're the one with the fucking problem. Excuse my language, people. Okay, that's number one. It goes 80 hours per month to maintain the eligibility. This requirement is expected to affect low-income adults, particularly those without dependents. Listen, if you don't want to make more money, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, that's just the bottom line. Not to mention that in the big beautiful bill that the Democrats won't talk about, Okay, President Trump is trying to pass with it for the no tax on overtime and no tax on tips. So even if you are low income, but you need to work overtime and you're working for tips, you're not gonna have to pay taxes on that. So which means that you can work all the overtime you want. If you don't want to work more than 20 hours a week and you're able to do it, that's on you. You should not get a freebie. Okay. The second thing, increase eligibility checks. States will be required to conduct eligibility recommendations every 6 months instead of the current annual checks. This change aims to ensure that only eligible individuals receive Medicaid benefits, but it may also lead to many losing coverage due to administrative burdens. If you are deemed disabled, like physically disabled, okay, and even sometimes, you could be a little mentally disabled. I understand there's people out there with, that deal with depression, anxiety and stuff like that, okay, or just have certain learning disabilities. From what I'm reading, you're covered, okay? It's the ones that are running the system that are not going to be covered, okay? Let's get to the third one. Projected coverage losses. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, approximately 10.9 million Americans could lose their Medicaid coverage by 2034. As a result of these provisions, the majority of those affected are expected to be low-income adults who may struggle to navigate the new requirements. We're talking about, okay, 9 years from now. If you are getting by and you are showing them that you are trying to keep your Medicaid and you cannot get better in the next 9 years, again, in my opinion, depending on your situation, if it comes to like a physical disability, but we already know you're covered on that. But if you're just somebody out there that just wants to have a job at McDonald's for 20 hours a week and that's it, you just want to go and play video games or whatever the case is, that is your problem. Plain and simple. Okay? And listen up, all you people out there protesting, that you want to spend all day, all night protesting, all you Antifa protesters and you pro-Palestinian protesters, all you bleeding heart liberals that are against Trump and MAGA and all you BLM, you're the ones that are going to lose out on this because you don't want to do a damn thing anyway. Okay? Plain and simple. You don't want to do anything anyway. But let's continue. Financial impact. It says the bill proposes cuts to federal Medicaid payments to states estimated at around $863 billion over the next decade. This reduction in funding is likely to exacerbate the challenges faced by low-income families and individuals relying on Medicaid for health care. Administrative challenges implementing these work requirements and increased checks may create significant administrative challenges for states, potentially leading to further coverage losses as individuals may not be able to comply with the new regulations. So here's the thing. If you know that you can go out there and work, they're going to want you to prove it. Okay? They're already going to check which doctors signed off on people that are not going to be able to fill these requirements. They're going to be covered. Okay, elderly people that have been on it, they're going to be covered. People that have like real medical problems, they're going to be covered. As a matter of fact, even President Trump said that single moms, okay, if they're on it, especially if they're working, they're fine. Them and their children are fine. Okay, I believe the same thing goes with dads. Single dads that are working, but their children are on Medicaid, they're fine. Okay, but leave it up to the Democrats to spin this around and make it seem like, you know what, we're trying to help all these hungry people in Massachusetts. We don't have the money. We need people to go out there and advocate on the state level and the federal level. But how much did Massachusetts spend and are still spending on people that do not belong in this country? You are taking your constituents' taxpayer money, and then you want more federal money, my money, everybody else's money, to help out your cause. Okay? And that's just not the way it's supposed to be. That's not the way it was meant to be. But leave it up to these bleeding heart liberals to try to change everything around. Leave it up to these socialists. Leave it up to the communists. Leave it up to the lefties, the Democrats, the Rhino Republicans to try to change all this around, because what they want to basically do is give their constituents a handout, and all they have to do is go out there and protest. Let me tell you something. If you're out there protesting 5 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day, then you could get your asses up and go to work. Plain and simple. And work for that Medicaid coverage. Okay? Because I'll be honest with you, I cannot remember the last time I've had any kind of health coverage. I've been going at it Rambo for years now. Okay? It's called taking responsibility, getting up and going to work, try to take care of yourself, take care of your health, and do the right thing. Will accidents happen where you got to be sent to an emergency room, whatever the case is? Yes. But if you're just sitting home doing nothing and you just want to make sure that, oh, I got a bad tooth because I've been snacking on freaking chocolate all day. Now I want Medicaid, to pay for my dental appointment. That's not how it should go, Slick. That's just the way I see it. Okay? That's not how it should go. And anybody coming here all of a sudden, they put nothing in the coffers and right away you want to give them Medicaid and all that. While there's Americans that are waiting to get Medicaid, real Americans with real medical issues, they have to be put on a waiting list. But as soon as you come right over the border, right away you get everything handed to you. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. I mean, it is just totally ridiculous. But like I said, do your research, people. Do it on your own. If there's stuff you like, read it for yourself. If there's stuff you don't like, at least you read it for yourself. That's it, plain and simple. Okay, but that's enough of this story. Let's get to the next video. You guys are gonna love this. Some guy invented an app that is taking the internet by storm, which you can download on your phone, and it's meant for illegal migrants, so like that they can know where ICE agents are gonna be, and they could basically hide from them. And he thinks what he's doing is the best thing on the planet, but yet all he's doing is warning all the rapists and murderers and criminals, okay, what ICE is going to be. But yet, leave it up to the Democrats, leave it up to the liberals to think that what they're doing, like a lot of them like to say, they're doing God's work. What they're doing is humane. Really? Really? Let's get to the next video clip. Here we go.
When I saw what was happening in this country, I wanted to do something to fight back.
Joshua Aaron developed ICEBlock. It's a free, crowdsourced app that alerts users when immigration and customs...
Let me stop this real quick, people. You heard his name, Joshua Aaron. And I encourage every single person, okay, I'm not encouraging any kind of physical violence, nothing like that, no threats of violence, nothing like that. But I encourage every single person who watches my video, who knows of anybody, family, friends, whoever it is, that is a victim of that has been a victim of an illegal migrant committing a crime against them. I encourage everybody, okay, to find out this man's social media account, whatever it is, and let him know how you feel, because what this man is doing, okay, is strictly mental, is treasonous. And like I said, I believe that the Department of Justice should go and arrest this man and delete that app from the App Store. As a matter of fact, I don't even understand why they would even let him upload this app and put it out on the App Store. But let's continue.
Enforcement agents are spotted within a 5-mile radius of their location.
Will you just sort of explain what ICEBlock is and how it works?
Sure. So imagine if you're walking down the street and a notification comes up on your device that says ICE has been spotted 4 blocks ahead. Instead of continuing down that path, you can turn left or turn around and avoid the situation altogether.
Aaron grew up Jewish and has a background in tech, music, and activism. He says he sees parallels between the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and Nazi Germany.
We're literally...
First of all, what the hell would this dude know about Nazi Germany? Okay? What parallels has he seen? Was he there in time? No. As a matter of fact, if he was there in Nazi Germany, they will go after him. That I will admit. But this whole thing that the left keeps coming out and saying, making it seem that like what President Trump is doing is reminiscent of what happened in Nazi Germany. They wonder why they keep losing. They wonder why that right now the Democrat Party, the liberals, they keep losing and their ratings are hitting the tank. I mean, there's no way of them coming back unless they import another 20 million people into this country and try to win the next election. Okay? I get so pissed off. These people, they just keep coming out the damn woodwork. Okay? Making it seem that it's a crime to get rid of criminals. Unbelievable.
Watching history repeat itself. And so I thought, what if there was an early warning system? And that's what became ICEBlock.
I'm looking at LA now. I'm seeing one in East Hollywood. And then as I zoom out, it's showing me a few others.
One of the core principles of the design of this app is 100% anonymity for our user base. As of today, we have 20,000 users. We're hoping to grow that 10 or 100 times, of course. But there is no sign-up process. There is no user data collected. There's no user data even captured by our app.
Do you have a way of verifying the accuracy of the reports that people are making on the platform?
We don't, but what we've done is put some safeguards in place so that people can't, for lack of a better word, spam the database. Every reported sighting is deleted in 4 hours' time, as you can only report within a 5-mile radius of your own location. Beyond that, we have a 5-minute limit. So when you report a sighting, you can't report another one for 5 minutes.
CNN reached out to ICE for comment about the app and Aaron's characterization of its enforcement actions. The agency did not respond.
We have also seen the way that many big tech leaders have supported Trump, donated to him, showed up at the inauguration. But what you're doing is challenging the policies of the Trump administration.
It's not challenging, it's treasonous. Plain and simple. And what this man does not understand, let me tell you something. I wonder if this man thought about making an app, or thought about making an app back then, or making an app now, for all the people, for all of us to know which illegal migrants are coming from other countries that are rapists, gang members, murderers, kidnappers, criminal, whatever the case is. I wonder if he thought about making this app, okay, before or after Laken Riley's death. Huh? Or Jocelyn Nungary. Or how many more victims did he think about making this app before, or make one now to warn us which one of these people that come here from other countries, that they're fleeing their countries because they're wanted for heinous crimes? Are any of you lefties watching this video understanding that? Do you even care? No, you don't. But you're out there crying for people, okay, that you have no idea who they are, while pushing your American fellow man and woman to the side and making it seem like, you know what, you're on the right side of history. And then once again, for this man to come out and make it seem like, oh, it's reminiscent of Nazi Germany. He sees it happening again. What the hell do you know about Nazi Germany? You weren't there. Nobody was there. At least none of us in the past 50 years were there. The past 60 years. Okay? But you're going to keep on with this BS, making it seem as if, you know what, we have to warn all these people so they can't be deported. You know, here's another one. How about an app to go track down the 350,000 missing migrant children that Mayorkas and the Biden administration and Kamala Harris, that they lost? How about making an app to track them down? Oh, you can't do that, right? Oh, absolutely not. And now the new thing on TikTok, and now it's hitting like all the mainstream, the social media platforms, is that ICE is going and taking all these foster kids back from all these bleeding heart liberals, because they know those are not those kids. And now they're making it seem like, oh, ICE, they're vicious, they're animals, they're taking all these kids back and sending them back. Those kids were never yours to begin with. Okay, I'm gonna make a video on that. I'm just throwing that in right now. Keep that fresh in everybody's mind. Okay? But this guy wants to go and make it seem like, you know what, that you need to warn the illegal migrants because they have more rights than the Americans. What about the Americans that have been victims to the criminals that cross that border? That the criminals that have a rap sheet from back in their countries. Where's their app? Huh? Where's their help?
And I wonder what you would say to the other leaders and your colleagues in this industry.
I think I would say grow a backbone. You can't just be about the money. I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that...
This dude disgusts me. Grow a backbone. Unbelievable. You know, those other tech leaders, they may be doing what they're doing for money. It is what it is. You know what? I always say, when you're rich, you're rich. You do what you feel you need to do to stay rich. I don't care. Okay? But when you do something like this, who exactly is it that you think you're benefiting? All you're doing is adding to the problem. Okay? All you're doing is putting more innocent people at risk, especially in their own communities, because they commit a lot of crimes in their own communities against their own people. Okay? But this guy's got to come and make it seem like, you know what he's doing, it's what's right. Now there's another video clip I want to play, and I believe there was a couple here, but I mean, you guys get the gist of it, of what's going on. This one here, I believe it's on Hannity, where Pam Bondi speaks out about this. Let's check this out. Here we go.
Heels of the huge Supreme Court ruling on Friday, the DOJ now continues to implement President Trump's immigration agenda. Earlier today, the department filed a lawsuit against sanctuary city policies in Los Angeles following the recent lawlessness and the riots that have plagued that city. And last week, the DOJ filed a complaint against Minnesota, challenging laws providing in-state tuition benefits to illegal immigrants. Still, Democrats are going way out of their way to resist everything that President Trump does. One software developer has now created an app to warn people when ICE agents are nearby. And this morning, fake news CNN appeared to promote the app. How nice of them. Take a look.
I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether. You open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data.
You know, we've had Tom Homan on many times on the program, and he's talked about a dramatic increase in violence against ICE agents.
Yes.
Over 450%. I mean, really scary numbers. If you have or put out an application or a warning system that ICE agents are in the area, are you guilty of obstruction? Are you guilty of aiding and abetting in that case? And by the way, if you're a sanctuary state, does that status aid and abet just the very status of it?
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. And people obviously are ICE agents, all of our federal agents who are working hand in hand on these task forces, our federal agents from the Justice Department could be injured. He's giving a message to criminals where our federal officers are, and he cannot do that. And we are looking at it, we are looking at him, and he better watch out, because that's not a protected speech. That is threatening the lives of our law enforcement officers throughout this country. And shame on CNN. I just saw that for the first time when you showed it, that they're promoting that app. That's shame on them for doing that. That could hurt our law enforcement officers who are out there protecting them, protecting all of us every single day.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. You know, it's just so asinine the way these people are coming out, these people on the left. You know, it's just sickening. It's sickening, and me personally, it just angers me big time that these people think that what they're doing is fine. Do you know how many innocent people can be hurt by this, because you are basically letting all the hardcore criminal ones, illegal migrants that are coming across that already have criminal records, you're giving them a way to basically just keep hiding from being arrested. Okay, and if they know that there's ICE agents 5 miles away from them, they're going to go and commit a crime somewhere else. Or if they know that their name's on the docket and they're going to be that ICE is out there looking for them, they're going to use that. In other words, what you're basically giving them, you're giving them a 5 mile, since he says it only goes as far as 5 miles, you're basically giving criminals a 5 mile gap. Okay, a 5 mile radius to stay away, which means that they're always going to be ahead of these agents by 5 miles. Think about that, people. Okay? Think about that. And I really, truly hope, okay, that Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice goes after this guy, and to tell you, I mean, because once they kill the app, that's it. The app is done. That's number one. But in all honesty, I have to admit on this one, they need to arrest this man and put him in prison for what he's done. Okay? And you know what she said? This is not about freedom of speech. This is an app to helping and abating to get away from law enforcement. Okay, just like all these other Democrat lawyers and mayors and city council members and whatever the case is, the judges that are letting all these criminals out of court, you know, trying to get away from ICE so they don't get deported. I mean, enough is enough. What the hell is wrong with these people? You know? He obviously never had somebody close to him, their lives affected or destroyed. Okay? By someone with just a criminal mindset. And yet here he comes and he wants to help out the criminals. It's incredible. It's totally incredible, man. Excuse me. You know? And for so many people on the left, and it doesn't surprise me that CNN will go and try to like put this out and make it seem like, oh, this we're just covering it. You know what you were doing? You're not covering it, okay? What CNN actually did was advertise it. That's what they did. They basically advertised it, okay? Because now the word is, since he put the word out, you heard what he said, that about 20,000 people on it, supposedly in the last day or two, or whatever the case is, that after CNN put it out, now that there's about 100,000, 200,000, or whatever the case is, people on that app. I may have the numbers wrong, but they say it is the people that downloaded it just exploded. Why? Because CNN went and basically freaking advertised the app for that guy. Okay? I mean, I can't. Just when you think that the left and people on the left and all these freaking all their minions, just when you think they can't keep stooping any lower, the guy has a God-given talent, and what does he end up doing with it? He uses it so other innocent people can get hurt. That's basically what he did. We truly are going through something here in America, people, that it is just basically, if you cannot open up your eyes, okay, and understand that this is something that's going on, that's being implemented to destroy this country from within, you have a problem. You truly, truly have a problem. I mean, he's even getting to the point, and I'll end the video, that now that there's word out in California, certain areas in California, and I think a couple of other states, where they're not going to celebrate the 4th of July. They're putting out banners and flyers that they're not going to celebrate 4th of July because of what's going on with ICE picking up illegal migrants. It's like, well, they're not here to celebrate the 4th of July with us. You know? But you're going to go and put down a celebration for your country, like you say it's your country, but once again you're just gonna spit on it and just kick it to the side. Right, okay, you know what, that's fine. You don't want to celebrate it, that's all good. Okay, you've already proven yourself that you're anti-American, You're unpatriotic. You're nothing but treasonous. Okay, so, I mean, you don't have to celebrate it. We don't care. We'll celebrate it without you. We don't need you. We don't need you to celebrate it. We'll be perfectly fine. Trust me. We will. I'm going to try to put another follow-up video on this on the 4th. Hopefully before everybody starts their weekend. If not, like I said, pass this video around. Show it to your friends and family. Wherever you go, barbecues, whatever. Let them know what's going on so they can keep their heads on a swivel. Okay? And just stay vigilant, people, because this is something that, you know what, the left, they're not giving up. They're not giving up. And it's, I mean, look at what's going on in the UK. It's out of control, man. It is totally out of control. Okay? But anyway, that's what I got for you. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And sorry for the bad editing. I got a problem with the app, but I'm trying my best. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your families. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. And if I don't see you guys on my next video, have a happy 4th of July and enjoy. Peace.